Hello everybody, my name is Pixie People. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. And today we're going to continue the what if I did yesterday. Anyways, let's get into the video. So, we continue our story after Deku has just helped All Might take out the Nomu with his tiger that can cancel quirks instead of, cursed energy. But yeah, we just see Deku go home after that. He was really fine. He didn't take any significant damage. So, he was just tired. But yeah, Deku goes home and just, waits the whole week that they had off. And then they come back for another week, and Aizawa explains the USJ. And yeah, Deku just trains with Bakugo to get stronger. And they're both wanting to win. That's really it. Anyways, we get to the racing part, and Deku already has a plan here. He's going to use the bird. And yeah, he immediately summons the bird and starts flying. And yeah, Deku just flies over there. We'll say eventually he sees Todoroki just shooting ahead of him, so he just drops the bird down and then summons his ox. So he lands on the ox, and the ox starts running. And the ox basically outspeeds Todoroki. So Todoroki tries to ice the ox, but the ox just stomps the ground, disrupting the ice so it doesn't hit the ox. And eventually, when they get to the explosive level, the ox just slams its head to the ground, just bulldozes the mines. But when people try to take the path, Deku uses the bird to lay the mines back out, so he can't be followed. But that doesn't matter for either Todoroki or Bakugo, because they just use how they'd use in the original, where Bakugo would shoot over the explosion, over the mines, and Todoroki would just use his ice to speed skate. Yeah, but Deku still gets first because his ox is just faster than both Todoroki and Bakugo. So the ox clears it with Deku on him. Well, the ox runs over and then tosses Deku through the front. Deku gets first because of his ox and his bird. Then he gets his 10 million points. Where's the 10,000? Can't really know. But 10 million points, and I'd say Bakugo and Ochako team up with Deku. And then I think Kirishima would team up with them because him and Bakugo have gotten close. Then, yeah, basically Deku just uses his summons to keep people off him. It's not really entertaining to just explain that Deku summons this and then the summon beats the crap out of him. I'll try. But yeah, Deku just summons the snake, and the snake just whips them all off the team. And Bakugo, being the person on top this time, actually goes out to get more things. And it actually works out pretty well, because Deku uses his animals to help Bakugo with this. Mostly using the tiger to both attack and roar to keep their quirks cancelled. And yep, Bakugo just gets more points, and they just continue to the next round. This will start talking more. Okay, so Deku, going in, knows that Shinso has a mind control quirk because of how the tail guy explained it. There's no way this guy doesn't have a mind control quirk, because Ojiro legit explained how Shinso's quirk is basically just mind control. So Deku plans to just finish this quickly. So then he summons his dog, and the dog runs over to Shinso. Shinso doesn't know how to react, so he just gets punched out of the ring instantly. Or slashed, because it's a dog that can fight. And so the Shinzo gets out of bounds. And Deku watches the fights of um, Todoroki eviscerating Shinzo, Sero, basically. And then, yeah, he just watches the fights. He doesn't go out and talk to Endeavor this time. He just sits there. Considering he doesn't have any actual harm that happened to him, he's just chill. So then Baku gets to the then we get to the Deku versus Todoroki fight, and Deku then opens, summons the Ox to slam some ground into bulldoze towards Todoroki. But Todoroki just straight up sends out a giant ice thing that catches the Ox into it, and then the Ox just summons because it feels low, it's just stuck. So then Deku summons his bird, which charges up electricity and goes for Todoroki. But Todoroki just sends up a wall, so the bird just hits a wall. And then Todoroki does like a sliding move over to Deku. Basically, think Sub-Zero's sliding move from MK9. So he slides Deku over his head, and then Deku gets his leg grabbed and frozen over slightly, and thrown almost out of the ring. But of course he summons the bird again, and it grabs him out of the... Actually, no. He summons the dog this time to catch him, and push him back out. But since the dog doesn't count as Deku's body, the dog can go out of bounds. So it just runs out of bounds, so Todoroki can't get to it, and runs to Todoroki. But Todoroki tries to ice it before it gets to him, but the dog just jumps over, and Todoroki and says a glacier, but the dog just spins slash through it. But then Todoroki goes straight for Deku, and the dog has to panic in front of it to get frozen. And then the dog, summons, because can't help. What sucks for Deku is his energy is getting low, so he can't summon as many things. So he sends out his snake and the bird again, because the bird's cooldown is off. And so the bird and the snake basically do the combo they did on Sukuna, but Todoroki just ices the snake and destroys it. And the bird doesn't land the attack because Todoroki's already falling. Actually, no, the bird hits it and slams Todoroki into the ground. And Todoroki, already being really cold, he just pummels it with a big ice shard. And then Deku's getting a bit confident considering he sees Todoroki's state. He's freezing over and he's not able to use his quirk. Mind you, Deku in this timeline doesn't really want to help Todoroki with his issues. But, yeah. But Todoroki just uses his father's quirk to remove the ice. Because technically, he's not using his quirk. He's using basically a warmer. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So then Deku gets a bit worried until he remembers his trump card. So he summons the tiger immediately, but Todoroki knows the tiger, so he tries to ice it immediately, but the tiger is already roaring, which just stops Todoroki's ice and just disintegrates it really. But Todoroki, seeing this, just rushes Deku, knowing he has basically no summons left. And he just starts wailing on Deku, let's be honest here. Deku has no actual fighting experience, because he usually lets the summons fight for him, and he doesn't really know. He just really knows how to throw a good punch. And the summons usually confirm the punch for him, but he does not throw it. So Deku starts getting his ass kicked, until the tiger stops roaring for a split second to stop Todoroki from throwing Deku out of the ring by biting his arm, the ice arm, but that just gets Todoroki to ice it and then smash it against Deku. And then he's about to ice Deku out of the ring, but Deku jumps for Todoroki's um, other side, the fire side, because it's safe that direction. So he jumps for it, and Todoroki can't hit him from that side. So Deku starts punching over at the fire side. But of course Todoroki's just gonna let Deku do that, so he just shoots him back, Deku back, freezing half of his body, but he just smashes it off. And then Deku, feeling like basically over, Deku summons the elephant and tries to shoot water at Todoroki, but Todoroki shoots ice in front of him to block it. But the elephant just charges through it and slams through it. And this gives Todoroki a bit of trouble because it's a super enhanced elephant. So it starts beating Todoroki up, but Todoroki just ices it over again and destroys it. And throws the trunk part of the icicles at Deku. Deku dodges it, and Deku's starting to get really fatigued. But Todoroki's perfectly fine right now. But he's iced slightly. But Deku then summons the deer summon, and he brings him back to full stamina. And that's the last time he's going to be able to use this. So he's really just planning on taking out Todoroki. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Then Deku summons all of the guys back. This basically puts him right back to where he was just at. He's out of stamina completely. So the elephant, the snake, the bird, the dog, the tiger, and what was it? Oh, the toad shows up. And that actually grabs Deku and keeps him safe. So Todoroki has to go through Deku's entire rogue gallery. So he just goes in there, actually fighting them pretty well until they start working together. At first they were just jumping in by themselves, but then they started jumping together. And of course they're really good at it, so Todoroki starts to get ass kicked. Until Todoroki gets a flashback. Yeah, he's getting main charactered right now. So he remembers his mother's words and immediately bursts into flame and shoots and basically just demolishes all of Deku's summons. And then just gets to Deku, who's in the frog, and the frog actually starts to run away from Todoroki until Todoroki catches it with a flash fist. Then he punches Deku out of the frog and grabs Deku and throws him outside the ring. And yeah, Deku actually loses here. Yeah, Deku tried his hardest, but Todoroki just his overwhelming strength, his superior combat in close quarters, and being able to do it without his quirk kind of helped. Wow, trauma actually helped Todoroki here. But yeah. Deku just gets up and tells Todoroki that was pretty impressive. With Todoroki saying he's out, which shocks both the audience and Deku. And they realize Todoroki wants to quit because he used his father's side. By the way, no, he's not over his trauma because of that flashback. He's actually more depressed because he was forced to use his fire quirk. So he quit the match and let Deku go ahead of him. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that word, dude. So Deku then follows Todoroki and asks him, "What the hell do you mean by that?" There's no way There's no way Todoroki's just gonna quit like that. And so Deku disqualifies himself because no, that's not fair. Todoroki totally won that. And so guess who wins by default? Bakugo wins in a technicality because both of them have quit. Because Deku felt he totally lost that, but Todoroki thinks he lost that because he had used his dad's quirk. And then this brings to a conversation with Todoroki explaining that he doesn't want to use his dad's quirk, and Deku explaining that clearly he knows how to use it better than his dad. And whatever his dad taught him, there's no way it was like that. But Todoroki says that those are his exact moves. But Deku just says he probably used them a lot better than he did. He's a lot cooler, too. 2 quirks instead of 1. And it's basically just them rambling at each other that Todoroki doesn't want to use stats quirk, with Deku countering him saying, no, it is your quirk and you're using it better than if he ever used yours. And it's way more unique than Endeavor's. But yeah, it's basically just Deku getting annoyed at Todoroki for not using his full quirk. But this makes Todoroki think on his quirk, but yeah. And when the whole podium stuff happens, they don't really know who to choose, but Todoroki just says they can go up together. So Deku just agrees, because he doesn't want to argue on it. So they both stand up there and receive a medal. Yeah. So Tokiyama is third, Deku and Todoroki are second, and Bakugo is first. Bakugo is annoyed, but not as furious as he was before, because he's not much of an egotist that he was in the original. But he's annoyed at Deku for disqualifying himself, because they could have had a really cool fight. But Deku says it would have been unfair to Todoroki. And so Bakugo leaves it in a grump. So we continue after that with Deku remembering that Ida left the tournament and wondering where he went. But he just leaves that to the back of his mind because he's getting some calls from teachers that they want him in their agency. And one that Deku would like to go to is the Dragon Lady. And so he goes there and he learns from her until they get a call in that they need some assistance at whatever the Stain arc takes place in. I forgot. So she grabs Deku and they go flying over there. Actually, Deku rides her over there on her back. So they get over there and Deku jumps off and summons his bird to fly him over there. The reason Deku chose her is because she's a dragon. He was trying to see if he could summon a dragon. Of course he couldn't, so it sucks. So Deku lands and sees all the things, so Deku summons his ox, which just bulldozes through most of them. And Deku just leaves the ox to deal with that while he goes looking for Ida, because he remembered Ida was in this area. And when he looks around a bit more, he can't see him, so he just keeps going until he stumbles upon Ida with Stain, proceeding to cut his arm off. So Ida has his arm fully gone, and Deku gets enraged, so he summons his animals. And the first one he summons out is his snake to coil around Stain, which Stain cuts himself out of really quickly. But before he could cut himself fully out, the dog shows up to combo the heck out of him by slashing him up, basically like an uppercut, like throwing a buttload of attacks. Think like a stand throwing punches, basically that, but they're cuts instead of punches. So slashes the crap out of him, then the dog grabs him by his tail, tossing him towards Deku, which Deku then kicks Stain in the gut, pushing him back. By the way, while he was in the dragon's thing, he wanted to learn some martial arts, which she said she would try, and Deku was not getting it that much. But he got a bit of it, so he's able to hold his own against Stain, slightly. But of course Stain eventually gets a cut on Deku, and when he licks the thing, Deku, before going down, he uses like a lot of his power to send out his ox again. That he felt that the ox just finished up his battle and went back into the portal. So the ox slams through the portal, slamming Stain into a wall, actually breaking him through the wall into a different building. And then we can hear a commotion happening where Stain is getting slammed through walls and the ox is screaming, or I guess screeching. Anyways, an ox screeching. And then Stain comes out with the head of the bull around his arm, dragging it out. And then he snaps its neck, and then its body droops. With Stain being absolutely bruised and really tired, He slowly marginates his way over to Deku to kill him. The sword to the chest and is about to push down when Todoroki shows up and flash fist Stain in the gut. Then he freezes Stain completely into a thing of ice, freezing him in place. He's too tired to really do anything, and so Deku thanks Todoroki by gritting and saying thanks. And Todoroki says it's not a problem. And so eventually, when the blood thing goes out, and when they cuff Stain, they check on Ida, who is fine, who's been holding his wound the whole time, until Todoroki says he can help, and Ida knows where this is going. So he asks Deku for something to bite on. So Deku summons a weapon that he got when he was at the Dragon Lady. He learned how to put stuff into his portals, so he can actually put stuff in there. So he brought out a sword, kind of. And yeah, it's basically the Megumi sword that he used against that Mario mustache-looking guy. And so Ida bites onto it, and then Todoroki uses the burn thing. And then it burns the wound close, and Ida laments the fact he just lost his arm. And so he just sits in that alley while Todoroki and Deku take Stain out of it. And eventually, Endeavor shows up, and the other heroes show up. And then the Nomu shows up, but Deku in this version summons the elephant, and it grabs it and squeezes the life out of that Nomu, popping its head with a gushy pop. Then the elephant let goes the Nomu and then gets desummoned. And Stain was actually fully unconscious that time, because that ice basically shot him into a sleep. So Stain doesn't do anything here. And he goes to prison, no incident. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave things right now. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, hit the post notification bells. Hope you liked the video. See y'all later. Probably tomorrow, but we'll see.